In the summer of 2022, Jim Doherty, a Morrow County rancher who at the time was also the board chair for the county commission, had enough. A frustration growing in him for years boiled over. Nobody was doing anything to stop nitrates from contaminating wells used by thousands of mostly low-income people. And nobody was warning those people. So he declared a county emergency.
I sent an email out to some folks and I said, we are going to get tremendous pushback. And they're going to push back for the wrong reasons. I said, but we need to stand strong. I said, because this will be, for the county in many ways, the turning point in healing, right? And, I grew thick skin pretty fast.
The pronouncement quickly grabbed headlines. It marked the first time in Oregon history a county had declared an emergency over groundwater. It also marked the beginning of the end of Doherty's time in county politics. Months later, he was recalled from office.
Because this was the right thing to do, and I knew it in my heart.
The forces against him were powerful, but the emergency declaration had its intended effect. It made things happen. It moved the state to begin testing wells and spreading awareness. In September of 2022, the legislature approved an emergency payment of $881,000 to the Oregon Health Authority. It was to test wells in the area and provide special filters for families with high levels of contamination. Governor Tina Kotek went to Morrow County in May of 2023 to promise state help at a town hall meeting. And in the summer of 2023, teams from the Oregon Health Authority followed up and visited more than 1,000 well owners to get samples of their water. OHA sent us this video of the process. Even though the state had identified the problem 3 decades prior, no one had a complete database on how many homes and how many wells were affected.
Each morning we started with a safety briefing and had teams, at least 10 teams in the morning and the evening, out canvassing in neighborhoods. Each team had a English and Spanish speaking individual in the team. So when the door was open, we were able to offer full services.
The state hoped to offer free tests to 3,300 well owners by the end of September, but some roads had no trespass signs and others had no one home. In the end, the state tested, as of late October, the wells of 1,624 households. The EPA says nitrate pollution above 10 milligrams per liter is dangerous for babies and for long-term health. In Morrow County, of the 462 tests, 32% came back higher than 10 milligrams. That represents 147 households. In Umatilla County, of the 1,162 tests, 18% came back higher than 10 milligrams, representing 214 households. Many more homes with wells still need to be tested. And while it's great to warn people now, it's little comfort to some like Maria Martinez, who discovered she's been drinking contaminated water for more than 30 years. She had 2 miscarriages while drinking that tainted water.
Because it's like we're out here, we shouldn't be suffering here with poisonous water, endangering our children, having health issues with them, or other people up here that have issues to have more issues on top with this water.
Maria had her water tested after the county declared the emergency. She said water that she thought was safe actually had nitrate levels 4 times the EPA's danger limit. She's one of many people I met in Morrow County who believe their health problems came from drinking that contaminated water. But no one can prove it. And the public health manager in charge of the well testing for Oregon Health Authority said there's no way to know if Maria's miscarriages or other people's illnesses are linked to that nitrate water.
We do have the research that definitely documents that high nitrates are not good for people. So even if we can't draw a straight line to an individual's health effects, we know that it's not good. And we know that the action is to get people safe water.
So what about the future? What's to be done about the polluted aquifer and the people, as many as 12,000, that use that water for drinking and cooking? First, the state is continuing to urge people in the lower Umatilla Basin to get their well tested. It's free. And taxpayers are footing the bill for weekly water deliveries to 256 homes in Morrow County and 122 in Umatilla County. All have wells with nitrate readings of 10 or higher. Businesses in the area are funding a group called H2O for Eastern Oregon, which has provided information about the dangers along with testing and filters for 300 well owners. But some wonder, is that all that can be done? Is that the future? Emergency bottles of water delivered every 2 weeks? forever?
Bottled water is basically a Band-Aid at this point. As the governor, we agree with the governor. She said, folks can't keep lugging jugs of water forever. So folks need to have a permanent water source.
Kristen Ostrom is the executive director of a grassroots nonprofit in Eastern Oregon called Oregon Rural Action. It was founded in 2021 and is concerned about the polluted groundwater in the lower Umatilla Basin. They're also helping organize residents there.
And so we've got to be looking at our regulations of the sources of the water, as well as looking at the approach that the state of Oregon has been using for 30 years, and that's a voluntary approach by the folks who are contributing the nitrate levels. We have to be looking at that approach. Is that effective as we're continuing to see the nitrate levels go up?
Well, what do you think? Is it effective?
I don't think it's been effective at all. I think community members who are discovering that the water out of their tap is not good to drink don't think that has been effective.
There is one obvious solution that few want to suggest. Cut way back or shut down on the sources of nitrate and make it mandatory. Tell the farmers to stop. Tell the Port of Morrow and other food processors to stop. Tell the feedlots to stop putting nitrates on the ground. Reducing nitrates is an obvious solution to the man who used to be a top executive with the Department of Environmental Quality for Eastern Oregon. What's the long-term solution?
Less nitrogen and less water on the ground. I mean, the only way this can be solved is to have less nitrogen. And I'm not talking about small farmers here. I'm talking about the big industrial circles. There's no regulation at all there. They don't even have to tell the government how much they're putting on the ground. So it's difficult to regulate it under the current rules.
But taking on farming or feedlots or the Port of Morrow is no small task. They're each important economic engines in the area. And farmers, most are not regulated. Jake Madison farms 10,000 acres in Echo, Oregon, about 16 miles from the Port of Morrow. His farm is one of the places that spreads the port's nitrate-laced water. It acts as fertilizer for his crops. He is regulated and monitored by the state because he reuses that port water. But again, most farmers are not. Jake's thought about solutions for the aquifer pollution, things like restricting how close to a well nitrogen-laced water can be put on the soil, or somehow recharging the underground aquifer with fresh water from the Columbia River. And I can hear someone out there saying, well, why don't we just stop farming this land and let it all rest for 100 years?
Don't say it with your mouth full. I mean, at the end of the day, that wouldn't fix it. That wouldn't fix it.
It is true that no one seems to know what it would take to fix the polluted aquifer or how long that would take. But some community members are fed up with the decades of delay and want action now. Raymond Akers, who has a polluted well, wants the Port of Morrow to immediately stop spreading nitrate water anywhere.
I hear that the DEQ just gave them another permit, so they're allowed to just continue doing what they're doing, and no harm, no foul for 4 years, and that's unacceptable. We'll never, in our grandkids' lifetime, get this under control if we don't stop the spigot. Shut the spigot off, then we can start working on a solution.
Mike Pearson also lives in the contaminated zone and agrees it is past time for action.
I got great grandkids. I want it cleaned up so their kids will be gone. I'm not doing this for my own self. I'm looking forward to my grandkids and my great-grandkids.
One thing is crystal clear. 30 plus years of voluntary guidelines has not worked here. The state's efforts have been a failure. The problem of nitrates polluting the aquifer in the lower Umatilla Basin is worse now than when it was first discovered.